So we got some big news coming out of the States today, where basically Trump is proposing a 50-year mortgage to help affordability. And I'll tell you why. I mean, I would say I don't like this. I don't like this for the good of the country, right? Like if this were to be the case in Canada, I don't like it as far as the future of the country is concerned. Obviously, if they did it, I'd sell more real estate. So it would disproportionately help me in comparison to the rest of Canadians. But overall, I don't like it as it pertains to like the health of the country. And the reason why is anytime the government does something, anytime they intervene, it pretty much always has the exact opposite effect of what it is they're trying to do, right? And there's a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of examples. You know, rent control is one of them that I've talked about a lot of times. They bring in rent control to make it more affordable for tenants, but that actually pushes up the cost of rent for tenants over a very long time frame. And there's studies to back up what I'm saying on that. And to me, it makes plain and perfect sense. And I don't even understand how you would argue that with me. And in fact, I've never had a solid argument. People just like give me the conclusion. They're just like, you're wrong because it lowers rent. But they don't ever explain how they arrive at that conclusion, right? So anytime they do something, it always has the exact opposite intended effect. And when you roll out a program that synthetically induces new demand, like it's artificial demand, what ends up happening is, as an example, a bunch of new buyers will be able to buy because the mortgage payment will go down. They can qualify for more. The payment is less. They can more easily afford that mortgage payment, right? So all these new buyers enter the market that shouldn't otherwise be there. They start chipping through the inventory that's on the market, the standing inventory. That inventory comes down. And then in a few years, the prices are pushed up. And then guess what? All of the first-time home buyers who got in with the 50-year AM, now all of the new future first-time home buyers can't afford the current prices even with the 50-year AM. So what do? They have to come in and roll out some new, more robust program to get the new people into the market, right? A really good example of this is we had the insured mortgages up to $1 million. Well, what did we do? We had to increase it to $1.5 million because 1 million wasn't enough anymore. So we had to increase it to 1.5, right? And you can only play that game for so long. Like, what are they going to do the next time first-time home buyers can't get into the market? Is it going to be a 99-year mortgage, a 75-year mortgage? Like, what's the next play? Because once you play that card, once you're like, here, 50-year mortgages, that card is done. You've burnt that card. So the next time it's expensive and unaffordable, you need a new card to play. Well, what's the new card going to be that you have to play at that time, right? So it's my opinion, and it's been my opinion the whole time, that they should just leave everything alone and let the market figure it out. The market is the best at figuring out what the price should be and who should be allowed to get into the market, right? And more often than not, the market, well, I'd say pretty much 150% of the time, the market is going to make it so the most amount of people can get into it, right? Can afford to get into it. It's good at doing that, right? And if you follow this channel for a while, I think the first time I made this video was maybe 3 years ago. I compared, basically my metaphor is this, okay? Our economy is a guy who's taken too much steroids, okay? After 2001, but most definitely after 2008, we took a whole bunch of steroids, bailouts, printing money, lower interest rates, all of these things. And the thing about steroids is when you do enough of them for a long enough time period, you can no longer function without the steroids. You have to be on some form of artificial testosterone for the rest of your life. Otherwise, you won't create any of it your own. And that's basically our economy now. And some people say, hey, we should just let everything crash to the bottom and we shouldn't roll out any demand side policies, and we should just let everything crash and burn because we need a reset. And I don't know if that's the right thing to do or if that could end up being a lot worse. But what I do know is in order to keep things going, we have to keep using steroids because we've used way too many steroids. There's no world where we just stop doing everything and the economy's fine. And that's why I knew they were going to lower interest rates, because we already took way too much steroids in the past. So in order to, the new normal for the economy is just being on steroids. That is the normal economy. And we haven't been on steroids for a few years. So I knew that they were going to drop the interest rates because we needed steroids to get back to feeling normal. Is the 50-year AM coming to Canada? I don't know. I doubt it. I mean, we already have one, but that's for like people who want to build rental housing. It's not for your average residential investor to just go purchase a condo, right? But I could see them. I mean, they've already done the removal of GST for first-time homebuyers on new construction, which is artificial demand to a certain extent, because if you're saying these people don't have to pay the tax, but everybody else has to pay the tax, that's a subsidy for that group of people, right? So you can say that that's artificial demand. And then they increase the insured mortgages to 1.5 million. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did a 35-year AM or a 40-year AM. We had the 40-year AM in the early 2000s to I think 2009 is kind of when they took it away. But it also wouldn't surprise me if they didn't do a 35 or 40-year AM, because they don't want to look like Trump had a good idea and they don't want to make it seem like, oh, we're copying Trump or something like that, right? But that is something they could play with, because I think the way that they're going to look at this eventually is we need to do something about this. Like if the prices don't substantially come down and first-time homebuyers still can't afford to buy, like a few years from now or a year or 2 years from now, they'll probably come out and say, we need to do something about this to get more first-time homebuyers in the market. Maybe, I don't know. And if they were to do that, it would probably be the 35 or 40-year AM. They can play with the stress test, right? They can completely get rid of it, and then that would drop the qualifying rate for people looking to buy real estate. Or interest rates would be the last thing that they can touch, which they have touched a lot, but they can still bring those interest rates down lower, and we've seen them do it before. But the point of this video is that, like, if they were going to do this 50-year AM to help stimulate the real estate, like prop it up as it's falling, but then take it away when things got better, I could see that being a decent tool to have in your belt. But that's not what they do. They typically just implement something and then it's there forever, right? So anything that gets put into the market has the exact opposite effect, right? Anything the government does has the exact opposite effect of the intended purpose of, establishing that thing. So when they say, hey, we're going to do 50-year mortgages to help affordability. Well, how is that going to help affordability? Because in 5 years, you're going to have all this additional artificial demand that goes into the market. The prices are then going to be higher. And then you're just going to have to roll out some new policy to get all of the new people in the future into the market. So it doesn't make housing more affordable if more people can buy it. It actually makes it less affordable because it pushes up the price of it again. So anyways, that's my rant, because it's like 8:30 p.m. tonight and I had nothing else to do. So I'm like, I'll hop on here and just speak my mind about this. And if you agree, even if you don't agree, like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to chat with me about buying or selling real estate, there's a link down in the description. I am that agent Kelly. I'm making moves to move you. Peace.